Before starting, I would like to address the outrageous comments and attitude of Bishop Anthony Fisher, which we have found to be endemic among people unaware of the impact of sexual assault. The old wounds he speaks of never heal, and the victims of sexual assault suffer all their life. There is no place for his comments, and he should be absolutely ashamed of them. I would now like you to meet my daughter Emma by listening to some of the words from the eulogy I delivered at her funeral service. Emma was born 6 November 1981, like her two sisters, Katie and Amy, from an intense and continuing love between Chrissy and myself. We nurtured Emma as a baby and provided her with all the material and social skills necessary to achieve happiness and success in life. Chrissy was always a wonderful, caring mother, and Emma always knew that she was surrounded by our love and the love of our community. Emma was happy, cheeky, full of energy, a real character, cute and in every way a typical toddler. She and her sisters Amy and Katie were the light of our lives. Emma had a wonderful preschool life. She had loving parents, little sisters, adoring grandparents, aunts and uncles, neighbours to play with, along with all the joys of a new life, experiencing the wonders of the world. Emma attended Sacred Heart Primary School in Oakleigh. We trusted the Catholic system to educate and protect our child. That trust was broken. The disgraceful 70-year-old parish priest had repeatedly used his access to Emma at primary school to rob her of her innocence. His behaviour was supported by a system that moved offending priests from parish to parish and failed to protect our children. He carried out his abuse for a period of 50 years. Emma held the effects of the abuse deep within her mind until she reached 13, when one day she was consumed with panic and fear. Chrissy and I were unable to console her or understand why she so feared the change in her body. We much later understood that the realisation of what had been done to her had been brought back in graphic detail that day. Emma had lost her innocence many years earlier. We lost our carefree, vibrant Emma that day 13 years ago. We were then struck the further blow of our daughter Katie receiving severe injuries in a traffic accident. She had also been assaulted by the same priest at the same primary school. Katie now requires 24-hour care 7 days a week. Emma was always keen to help others. That was her true nature, and that's our enduring memory of her. Emma was a wonderful, intelligent, vibrant person, and we love her very much. In January this year, her suffering overwhelmed her, and her life ended with an overdose of medication. I'm speaking to you now in order to continue Emma's amazing ability to care for others. This is what she would have wanted me to do. There are many, many similar cases of suffering and loss as a result of sexual assaults on children, youth and adults. Over the years, Emma pursued the Church for compensation under the Archdiocese of Melbourne's scheme, set up by Archbishop Pell ahead of the nationwide scheme. Archbishop Pell capped the payment at $50,000 for the worst affected victims, compared with the uncapped national scheme and also civil claims schemes which are uncapped. The Melbourne scheme did not cover any of the religious orders or the like. I want to know why and on what basis did Archbishop Pell limit the value of a human life? The Melbourne Archdiocese should immediately appoint an independent panel to reassess all compensation payments made under its system since 2001 and pay the increased payment level of a successful civil claim. Only then can Cardinal Pell claim the system to be fair and just. Archbishop Pell eventually apologised for the abuse, offering Emma $50,000 and access to counselling, while stating in the same letter that it was an alternative to litigation that they would strenuously defend. Sounds like a hollow apology. Emma was naturally dissatisfied with the offer and instituted legal proceedings against a number of the church's entities and personnel for compensation. During the proceedings, the church issued documents denying the abuse had even occurred. Cardinal Pell correctly claims he was not a party to the legal proceedings. However, Emma only took action because of the unjust and unfair system that he left behind when he moved to Sydney. And in fact, it was Archbishop Pell who, in a private meeting with us, said that if we didn't like the system, we should take them to court. He actually initiated the process. The hierarchy of the church contributed to Emma's death through their actions and inactions over many years. I hold them all personally accountable for her death, which they could have prevented. Cardinal Pell wonders what more he could have done. Well, he could have acted justly and fairly towards victims. He should not have cruelly limited compensation. He should not have crushed victims who did not have the ability to pursue justice. Cardinal Pell wonders why there are so many youth suicides. Well, he should look to the actions of the Catholic Church, as in many cases the cause is sexual assault. Archbishop Pell says, "Go forth and multiply." Well, Emma may have had children by now. The Church just doesn't get it. It just does not comprehend the impact of its actions and the effect of sexual assault, and it does not know how to look after the victims. There are many like Emma still suffering and being further abused by the Catholic Church in their quest for fairness and justice. Many more have given up, and many have died. All this from an institution claiming the moral high ground and the authority to dictate how we live our lives. To be truly repentant of what the Church has done to the victims of clergy sexual assault, the Church must unite in a uniform response. That response must be based on moral principles of fairness and openness, without recourse to legal systems to deny victims' rights. The Church must respond morally, not legally. To survive and have the life that should have been, the victims need unrestricted help. It is the Church's responsibility to provide that help on the basis of its moral responsibility, and not on the basis of fighting victims in the courts or other forums, or by using the law to deny that the Church even exists. The Church, and the Pope as its uniting leader, must take this opportunity to prove their character. For without looking after their own victims, they can have no authority to make pronouncements on any other aspect of life. To date, they have simply proven that they will use all means possible to control the extent of their support for victims, or even worse, deny any support.
So can I ask you,
The Church should be deeply ashamed. The Church should be deeply ashamed at the actions of offending priests and the behaviour of archbishops, cardinals and religious orders that have limited or restricted compensation for victims. An apology is not enough. Limited compensation is not enough. Limited help is not enough. We wish to meet with the Pope to help formulate the way forward. It may be difficult and require changes by the Church, but we are all willing to help. Together we can ensure the victims of sexual assault are treated fairly and justly, so they may have some hope of surviving and participating fully in this wonderful gift of life.